Hey, what's up? This is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Tszyu Tszyu and what's next for the Australian fighter. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time, subscribe to the channel. It takes one click. Also, hit that thumbs up button. It does help and it does support this channel. Now, let's talk about this. Who's next for Tszyu Tszyu? So we all know that he's not getting the Charlo fight. And I've explained why it's not a duck, so I don't really want to go back over that. But I will drop the video and a link, and it's probably going to be right here. Maybe right there, but I think it's going to be right here. And I don't really want to go back down that route, because the reality is it's not happening, or it's not happening right now. Let me say it like that. The fight with Tszyu Tszyu and Jermell Charlo is not happening right now. But it will happen somewhere in the future. It just, it's not going to happen presently. So, the question is, who's next for Tszyu Tszyu? He's on a tear right now. He's on a roll right now. And you don't want him to lose that steam. Also, I have stated, I feel sorry for the guy who's going to get in the ring with him next. But it was recently said, so here's some other news, I suppose. Conor Benn has been fully reinstated. Like, he's good to go. Whatever was in his system, or maybe he's done his time, I don't know. I didn't really want to get into the logistics of that. But he's ready to go. He's locked and loaded, and he's back on the scene. And it was suggested by his promoter, why not have Conor Benn take on Tszyu Tszyu? Tim has got nothing to do now. He's got free hands at the moment. Conor Benn is also very free. So here's the thing, before I go into anything else. In regards to Conor Benn, I think there's a high level of questions and doubts, and rightfully so. I often said whoever fights him next, or whoever gets in the ring with him next, all eyes are going to be on Conor Benn, because you got caught. Now they say it didn't happen, or whatever's in his system, or whatever, or wherever it came from. More importantly, doesn't matter. Something was in you, and like I said, I don't want to get into the politics of that. But this fight could just have a lot of scrutiny. It could have a lot of scrutiny, which is why I was also thinking of someone else. I was thinking of Josh Kelly. Why not? That's an amazing fight between Tszyu Tszyu and Josh Kelly. But first, let me just break down what I think with Tszyu Tszyu and Conor Benn. Do I think it's a great fight? Absolutely. I mean, they're both pressure guys. They both come to win. They both come for knockouts. They're both very aggressive. They're both up front and personal. Conor is driven by emotions, and I think psychologically it's just not going to work for him fighting somebody like Tszyu Tszyu. Tim is aggressive, but he's a very calm, controlled aggressive. Conor is very angry inside. Like, he's just very fiery. He's just like his dad. And that comes out in the fight even more so. So sometimes it gets him in trouble. He oversteps. He's off balance. He comes in a little too fiery, a little too hot, a little too fast. He loads up a little too much on everything. And it gets him in trouble. He's been put down a few times. Tszyu Tszyu has been down once, but he got up and looked phenomenal after getting back to his feet. Conor, he's knocked guys out, so I don't want to say he hasn't looked phenomenal, but at the same time, again, there's a question mark around Conor Benn. Who's to say that everything he's done thus far was legit? Who's to say? We don't know. We don't know. So there is a question mark around him. But I look at a fight with Conor Benn and Tszyu Tszyu. I see Tszyu Tszyu winning. I see Tszyu Tszyu just taking his time. Tszyu Tszyu in his last, the Tony Harrison fight in particular, he took his time. And he took his time with a guy who's very credible and a guy who's very slick, a guy who's known for being slick. Now you take a guy who's just rambunctious and not wild, but supercharged aggression that will just run after Tszyu Tszyu. I think the fight kind of looks a little bit like, Carlos Ocampo all over again, to be honest with you. Because that's how Conor Benn is. He's going to come in hot. He's going to come in hotter than he's ever came before, and I'll tell you why. Because he's coming in to prove this every time I fought, it was really me. There was never anything in my system, and I'm going to prove that by getting a knockout. In which case, the reality is that doesn't really prove that. But he's going to come in looking to prove a point. And who better than the guy who's smoking hot right now? Like, Tim Tszyu's on fire right now. So if you could get a win over Tim Tszyu right now, not only would that probably put you in line for a title shot whenever Jermell Charlo comes back around, because that whole situation is just weird. What does that mean? He vacates? That's just weird. So when you look at it like that, there's a lot going on with that fight. But I do see Tim Tszyu winning. I think he's the sharper and crisper puncher. Tim Tszyu has been a lot more active, obviously, and he's looked impressive, and he's fought different styles in the interim. Okay, and just the fact that he's fighting American styles, or a style that has fought styles that have come from this part of the world, he's going to be darn near impossible for Conor Benn to beat. And I'm not saying Conor Benn doesn't have a shot in this world. Conor Benn hits very hard. But again, it still goes back to the question mark. Was that truly you? Was that all your power? Was that all your speed? Was that all your endurance? Was that all your cardio? We don't know. We don't know. Will he look different? We don't know. I follow Conor Benn on social media, and he's always in the gym. His body doesn't look any different, but we don't know. We don't know what he looks like on fight night. I don't know. So that's why there's saying these two fighting. It's just a big question mark. It really is. Because, listen, is it even a credible fight? It is on Tim Tszyu's behalf. He hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't cheated anybody. He hasn't had anything found in his system. He's done everything properly and correctly. But with facing Conor, I feel like it doesn't even really benefit Tim Tszyu, other than the fact of staying busy, in which case Tim Tszyu is becoming such a name that, honestly, he could kind of get any name in the division. And not to mention, Conor is not really from his division. He only moved up to fight Chris Eubank. So he's not really from the division. So, again, it's just like, is this fight even really worth it? Is it a money fight? Absolutely. Conor Benn, that last name Benn alone. Benn and Tszyu? Come on. It's a money fight. And I don't care if it's in the UK, and I don't care if it's in Australia. However, Conor Benn does have ties to Australia. So it's not like he's not a household name over there as well. He's very well loved and very well kept over there. So either way, that's a money fight. It's going to generate money, whether you like it or not. But I think at this stage, Tim Tszyu is going to generate money, whether you like it or not anyway. And I think Conor Benn would generate money, whether you like it or not anyway. Not to mention, it's going to be his comeback fight. So it's really going to draw a lot of eyes to the bout. But let's talk about the other guy, that Brit, Josh Kelly. I think Josh Kelly is one of the most talented boxers like we've seen in the last 20 years. I think he's so gifted. I think he's so slick. And for him to have that style and that slickness and that smoothness and just his overall awareness and compass in the ring, you don't see a lot of guys from the UK fighting like that. Let's just be honest. You don't see it every day. And he has it. He has it. He has that it factor in the ring. He has pop in his hands. He has very fast hands, very elusive, knows every inch of the ring. He could give Tim Tszyu a lot of problems. However, the problem with him, Josh Kelly, fighting Tim Tszyu would be it's a 12-round fight, and Josh Kelly doesn't do well after like round 6. He does tip down, whether you like it or not. He does, and I really love Josh Kelly, but there is a significant difference in the way he fights in the early rounds versus round 6 and beyond. There's a huge difference, and you have to acknowledge that. Now, do I think that he can put Tim Tszyu out with one punch? No. Do I think he can dance circles around Tim Tszyu? Yes. Do I think he can take 3 good shots, and I'm using the word 3 good shots from Tim Tszyu every round until late rounds? No. I think he'll slow down considerably. Do I think he can take a sustained body attack from Tim Tszyu? No, I don't. Do I think Tim Tszyu is naturally bigger? Yes, he is. I think Tim Tszyu obviously hits harder. I think Josh Kelly is faster. But again, all the speed and everything is going to dip. By the time round 8 comes around, it's going to dip. And on top of that, he's going to be getting hit. He may not be getting hit consecutively throughout the rounds, but he is going to get hit here and there, here and there. And trust me, if they're smart, and there seems to be a pretty smart camp and team around Tszyu. They're going to go right for that body to slow down Josh Kelly so that he can't dance and prance around the ring as he does. In which case, Josh Kelly has shown that he has heart. He can stand in front of somebody. But I don't think he wants to test his chin against Tszyu. If you're on the ropes with Tszyu, it's pretty much night-night. It's good night. It's just not going to happen. As much as I like Josh Kelly, it's just not going to happen. Those are the two big names, though, I would really like to see Tszyu go up against. There's some other guys, but I don't think they have the weight and the star power to honestly maybe entice Tszyu or give him the showing that he would need. Because I think at this point, he's so close to a title shot. Well, he should be having a title shot. But he's so close to be having a title shot that it would take a certain type of fighter to get him up in the morning to be intrigued about the fight. I think at this stage, one thing I like about Tszyu is he's going to fight regardless, and he's going to stay busy and active. And I think that's going to serve him when his time with Jermell Charlo comes around. So there you have it. Tszyu taking on quite possibly soon Conor Benn, but again, question marks. Or you can get Tszyu taking on Josh Kelly. That's a fun fight. That's a very, very fun fight, very explosive. I think the crowd either way would be on their feet with either fight. I just think one fight poses more question marks and concerns and, more doubt, if anything else, while the other fight would just be blazing. It would be pure excitement from start to finish. But I do see Tszyu beating Josh Kelly. He has cardio on his side. He has heavier hands on his side. He's a much better body puncher. He's shown that he can stick to a game plan. He can fight in a telephone booth if he has to. But as his last, not the El Campo fight, but prior to that with Tony Harrison, he's shown that he can be quite reserved and still get the job done in an impressive fashion. So there you go. We're not getting Jermell Charlo versus Tszyu, but we will be getting something really soon from Tszyu. And if any one of the names that I just mentioned pop up, I think we're all basically in for a treat. But there it is. Drop your thoughts down below. Please like, please share, please subscribe to the channel.